Hello and welcome to the Special News Podcast. This is episode 142. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Liam McKelvey and Jake Kulkowski.
Yes.
Hello.
Who's got an ad read for us?
Oh, certainly have. So before we get into the podcast, support for Special Moves this entire month is brought to you by Manscaped. Men's below the belt, below the waist, grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, all across Europe. You heard that right. The 4.0. So, Manscaped
it's a bollock trimmer.
It's a bollock trimmer, and Manscaped sent us some. It was supposed to arrive next week, but it came early. There's a joke there. You can write it yourself. The boxer shorts it came with, it wasn't expecting them. Very breathable. Very good quality underwear.
I've actually just moved house, right? And I was desperately seeking a pair of boxers. This isn't a lie. This is true.
No. True and honest. True and honest.
I really needed a pair of boxers, and then there was a parcel by my door, and I was like, "What is that?" It's the Manscaped stuff. There was a pair of boxers in there, which I'm wearing right now because I can't find it.
So a great sign of things to come. We got sent a whole array of things, but one thing about me is I was born incredibly handsome, and the odds were evened very early on and through puberty by getting the curse of horrible amount of like nose and ear hair, like an 80-year-old man, to the point where when people look at me, I can see them looking at it. So in the Manscaped box, it's got a wireless little trimmer called the Weed Whacker, and it already came charged, not batteries. It's wirelessly chargeable, yeah. And it was like, so I turned it on, and I didn't read the instructions. I just stuck it in my nose. That was my first impulse.
It just felt right.
Gone. Yeah. And it just went zoom, zoom. 15 seconds later, and all of those years of ridicule shaved away. So that was a great sign. Yeah.
15 seconds.
Yeah. That's an even split.
That's an efficient trimmer as well, isn't it?
Exactly. So speaking of the efficient trimmer, once when I was younger, I shaved my balls before a big night out, and I bled so much that I was out of action and I stayed at home. That's true story. After that, I just gave up. But now with Manscaped, I'm born again, and I thought I'd give it a go. So that's it. Like Jesus. So I've used the full thing, the Lawnmower 4.0. I'm actually one of the first people in the whole wide world to try it, and I'm blown away, actually. The craftsmanship on it is good. Good of a handle. My favourite thing about it, though, little torch on it for a proper good little view of your modest appendage. Yeah, it's like Mr. Rossetti from Animal Crossing, little light on it and this. So they'd make a really good... I know that none of us and no one listening has sex, but you probably know people that you do. And there was a survey recently, 82% of sexual partners say that they care about hygiene. So it'd make a good Christmas gift for your family, your friends, your dad, who's a guaranteed sex haver because he's your dad. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for the Spesh heads, 20% off and free shipping with the code SPESH at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code SPESH. How are we spelling that? S for Spesh, P for Pesh, E for Esh, S for Spesh, and H for Spesh. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Thank you very much. Back to you, Michael.
That ad read was like a Tenacious D song. That was the longest and best ad read.
It was beautiful.
So look forward to 3 more of them. Thank you very much, Manscaped.
Well done, Jake. Very nicely done.
Thank you.
So anyway, gaming. I've got a few emails to get through this week. I've been doing my best. I'm just doing everything except play games, it feels like, for a very long time. But I managed to play a little bit of Far Cry 6 this week, and a little bit of Age of Empires 4, which is brand new. Did either of you guys play that yet?
No, didn't get around to it.
I did, but I was in a very volatile mood. I was antsy, what it is. Sometimes when I'm having a busy day, I say I'll unwind on my lunch break. So I booted it up, but I was like, I don't know. I have to listen to the tutorial. I know how to left click on a peasant. Do
you know what? Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I was skipping through stuff, and when I was playing it, and there's some stuff that it made me smile, which that's all an RTS needs to do, isn't it? Really, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. We've got obviously plenty of new games to talk about. Loads of emails, actually. Now that I'm looking at the list, there's fucking way too many emails. Jake, you've been playing Resident Evil 4
VR.
And
VR, yeah.
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering, yeah.
Is pretty bonkers. But I just want to get it out of the way super quick because it's the freshest in my head. That's right. But I played a bit of Far Cry 6, like which neither of you played that, either of you.
Yeah, no, I played it. Remember?
Yeah, Jake's played it. I've not played it.
Yeah.
So Jake's played a little bit. The Far Cry games, like I got this weird thing with Ubisoft games, especially the Assassin's Creed and sort of Watch Dogs and things like that. It just seems like hours of filler, and that's exactly what Far Cry is as well. But for some reason, I'm into it. Like I like the shooting and stuff and whatever. Far Cry 6, it begins, and it gives you the biggest, like, it just gives you power, like straight away. You get like a pet alligator. You get the big weapons straight away. You got a sniper rifle, flamethrower, machine gun, all in like this starting area. Sort of. I don't know if all that's going to be like rudely ripped away from me in the story at any point, but it doesn't seem like it. Because it just seems like you go on the weapon screen and you've got like one assault rifle, which seems to be like, why would I use any other assault rifle through the rest of the game? But there's like tons of different ones. And the other thing, the most noticeable thing is it gives you like a doomsday weapon like L1 and R1, and that kind of recharges. And it basically is like an airstrike that's strapped to your back that recharges, and you just press that whenever you're in trouble. And it just kind of launches loads of missiles in the air and just nukes the whole area in front of you.
It's disgusting, isn't it?
It's like a Destiny Ultimate skill.
God, yeah, it's like a Destiny Ultimate, right? But it gives you all this stuff right in like half an hour. Like it really does. It really doesn't hold back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I thought, like, how is this gonna maintain? How is there gonna be an arc of like me getting new stuff that feels exciting and worth it for fucking 40 hours or however long it is? But the answer to that is that it sort of seems to. I don't know if this was in Far Cry 5 or if it was. I can't remember it very well. But it has got to the point already where it's sort of like a bit like the Division, where enemies got health bars and they've got armor.
Oh, okay.
And you're shooting them, so you're headshotting people with snipers, and you're taking a chunk off their health bar instead of instantly killing them.
Yeah,
there's like a lot of that, and I don't know if that was in.
No, that definitely wasn't in Far Cry 5.
Yeah, it sort of felt. I mean, I noticed it instantly. Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, but that's not.
It was in Far Cry like Primal, which I think was the one before 5. Actually, wasn't the in between game?
Yeah,
there was like that. There was like heavies basically, but like that wasn't really like Do you know what I mean? Like, and eventually like one of the tribes that you fought were mostly heavies, but so they were like hench, but not really bars.
So there are like regular enemies everywhere, right? From what I can tell. But because I've only played, not played very much of it. But then there's like entire camps of sort of heavies. Do you know what I mean? And you jump in a tank and you're like hitting them with a tank shell, and they're like getting knocked back and getting back up and shit. So that's the kind of biggest like thing that I didn't sort of love about it.
I remember in 5 there was heavy enemies who wore like armor and stuff, but you could still like insta kill them if you used the right tools. So if you had like a giant sniper rifle with armor piercing, it just goes straight through them if you went for a headshot and stuff.
No, that's it. Right tools for the right job or whatever. That's the big fucking thing that they keep.
That's the Manscaped. Were you back at the ad read?
Yeah.
The Lawnmower 4.0.
That's genuinely like a thing they keep saying in the game. For that reason, I guess, you got to choose the right ammunition type, and you got to so there's a lot of like tinkering with your weapons and stuff, which that's like the direction that these Ubisoft games have gone down, where it's like more fiddling in menus. They've given you more stuff to do in menus, more things to go to in the world, which means more things in menus because that gives you this feeling of progression. You've got to be unlocking stuff, you've got to be collecting stuff, you've got to be getting new gear all the time and fiddling with that gear and changing the gear for different situations and stuff. So it is, it does feel like but it does feel like the same family as Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And that RPG-ish, heavily RPG-ified open world, even though it's a shooter. The series about shooting. But I don't hate it. Not so far anyway.
Good.
And I bought it on a disc, which means that I've already got it in my head that I'm gonna sell it.
You're gonna flip it.
Flip. That's it. Yeah, it's cool. I think like my enjoyment of these games is just how, I don't know. Depends like what time of the year I'm playing it. Like if my heart has been softened, like if I'm limbered up basically. But like this one just fell right off me, and it's one of them where it's like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like about a year ago that came out, I think, didn't it? And like I got like lucky enough to get it before it came out, so I was in like the weird bunch of people who got to play like a huge game I played it just for that, and then as soon as that happened, I didn't touch it again. I've been meaning to play it, haven't even touched it.
Valhalla.
Same Valhalla, like no,
I don't think you'd get anything out of it. Really, is
no.
There's there's these types of games where that problem where you're shooting something and it doesn't feel like The Division suffered from that a lot, where you were kind of shooting enemies and things, and they were just wearing hoodies and t-shirts, but they were just taking bullets and not going down.
Yeah, right.
Just like it's always been like an instant sort of thing that I've noticed, which is fucking ridiculous. Fucking shooting stuff is a ridiculous thing to be picking up, but
crazy.
But so it's pretty. It's like consciously trying to be like that like Saints Row sort of everything is wacky and crazy. But I think it's just like you're saying, Jake. You just play stuff at the right time or the wrong time, and this is sort of the right time for me. I really need my brain to be off. I tried playing a bit of Demon Souls. I did like half an hour at the beginning of Demon Souls, and I was feeling like getting into it. I was like, yes, this is. I'm enjoying myself, and then I died, and I was like, but that's a lot of work to get my fucking my thing back.
Yeah, it's
I can't be asked. So
yeah, right. Well,
maybe a mindless kind of open world shooter.
Now that you said Demon Souls, just need to say it. Elden Ring, the day that we're recording, which is a Wednesday, they've announced that Elden Ring is being shown off tomorrow, and they're actually just running. So next week, there's a network test, which is like a closed beta, just for like a 3-hour window, where you can play through the first area. They did it with Bloodborne, and it was just up to Gascoigne, I think, right? And yeah, so I guess they're just doing like a walkthrough of that gameplay for the people that aren't in it. So it's Elden Ring actually happening tomorrow. Just wanted to say that whilst I had any excuse, okay?
So well, I mean, it's how did you feel about that first like gameplay trailer? Has there only been one, or has there been two?
There's just been the one.
So how did you feel about that, Jake?
Yeah, great. I actually felt good about it. It looked like more of the same, but open. And so I'm playing through Sekiro again at the moment. Actually, this is sad. This is really sad, but I don't mind admitting it. I'm playing it again on my friend's account just so I can see the trophies pop up or whatever.
Do you know what? I wasn't ready for that. That was bad.
I know. Because I got the plat, haven't I, already? So I just wanted to, okay, I'm getting the plat on her account. Cool. Yeah, so I'm playing Sekiro again. And by the way, so since I last played, it got a big patch, didn't it? I don't know if you know, but it got like a 4K, 120, I think, FPS patch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Let me just double check. 4K 120. I'm pretty sure that's it. It's yeah. Okay, 4K 60. Sorry. Sorry. Just fact checking for everyone at home there. That's to hold on to your seat. Someone pulled over. Someone who was driving pulled over to wait, and so they were like, "What?" So yeah, I'm doing Sekiro again at the moment, and I'm seeing like little flashes of that in it. When you're looking at the gameplay, you're seeing everything. You're seeing exactly the same dragon animation. You're seeing the same lumber in person animation, but it's in an open world, and it's it seems a bit more like, I don't want to say like Nordic flavor, but a little bit more like, how do I describe it? But like, rather than like shining armor and tower shields, there's more like furs and cloaks. So whatever that is, do you know what I mean?
It's like Oblivion to Skyrim. I get it.
fucking exactly. Yes, brilliant. Yeah. So Skyrim's 10th anniversary this week. But yeah, it's yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting in there. There's a fucking jump button and it's open world. What more do I want, man? Like, you can play it multiplayer apparently. Like, that's the thing. If you can truly play it co-op, that's heaven. We'll hit heaven
for a treat.
Yeah, real co-op.
That I would look forward to that. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. I guess that'll come up next week. And I've applied for the test, so maybe I'll have hands on with it. Who knows?
Liam, have you been up to anything, mate? You played anything?
I've only played a couple light games. Well, one of them I say it's a light game. It's pretty much the exact opposite of a light game in terms of like how fast and speedy it is. But I've been playing through Dusk, which is the like Quake-looking throwback shooter. It came out on the Switch only a couple weeks ago, but I've been playing it on the PC because it was on sale as part of their Halloween sale. And it was one of those games where I was always looking at it being like, I need to play that. Everyone says it's amazing, but I just never got round to it. And then Halloween season, I was like, of course, I want a spooky game with like skeletons and the occult and, you know, people wearing antlers on their heads in the woods. And you get all that in Dusk, except you also get to dual wield shotguns and blast them away to a heavy metal soundtrack.
And that's what video games are all about.
And that is what games are all about.
Freedom!
Of all of all these like throwback shooters I've played, Dusk is easily the best, like by far.
Yeah.
Like it plays a lot like Quake. The movement of the character you play as is called like the Intruder or something, I think. The movement of the character is so good. You feel fast and nimble, but at the same time, not like you can just infinitely strafe around everything. You can just like dodge the attack patterns of every enemy. The enemy variety is good. There's like big dudes with chainsaws, deers, antler weird mutant things that can go invisible and jump out at you, like regular occultists who have like sacks on their head who run at you with scythes and stuff. Like visually, it's great. It has got that proper American Gothic vibe to it. Yeah. And the guns are great. There's like a hunting rifle you can get. It's like single shot only. But when you line it up perfectly and you get like a shot of 5 NPCs in a row, this feeling's amazing. And the music does deserve a big shout out. I can't unfortunately remember the name of the guy who did it, but he did the DLC for Doom Eternal. He did the soundtrack for that. And he did the Quake Champions music as well. Cool. And those are some tasty guitar riffs. And because it's dynamic music, so when you just like bobbing about, shooting a couple people, it's like quite ambient. But when you get like swarmed by a boss enemy and loads of minions, and the blast beats start coming in on the drums, it's a thing to behold. It is a very short game. It's only like 4 hours long because it's split into episodes, like you remember like original Doom is. It's split into episodes like that, and each episode has, I think it's 10 levels if I remember right. But there's also like modding support for it. There's a multiplayer deathmatch mode for it. And yeah, it came out in 2018 and it's still getting support and updates to this very day. It's made by one guy on his lonesome. He did the PC version and then the console ports, I think someone helped them with. But yeah, it's made by one guy on his own. And it's one of the best shooters for the last few years. It's really, really good.
Have you seen the coolest, maybe not the coolest thing about this, but one of the coolest things about this is that, so it was published by...
Is it New Blood?
New Blood. Yeah. And then on April Fool's Day this year, they posted like that they're working on a new one, and it was like a 2D roguelike version of the game, and everyone was like, wouldn't that be so funny if that's real? But it was real. It's the exact same game, but a 2D roguelike, and they've even got the composer to do the soundtrack again in chiptune. And it launched the same day as it launched on Nintendo Switch. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for that one, or Liam, if you want to get back into the roguelike, it's called Dusk 82, like in 1982. So, yeah,
and then the only other thing I played only a little bit of, it's an indie game that came out, might have been yesterday actually, called Unpacking, where the entire thing of the game is it puts you in a diorama of a bedroom, a kitchen, a living room.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
And you have to unpack boxes.
Look at for anyone who's not listening to the audio version, look at mine and Mike's backdrop. Say no more. And Liam, come round ours, mate.
Exactly. Like it might be a bit too much for you guys, but it's a really zen little game, and it's the perfect counterpoint to Dusk, which is all about like, shotgunning things in the face to heavy metal music. Yeah. This is a nice little acoustic guitar soundtrack. You're just going at your own leisurely pace. Decide, oh no, I think my troll doll will look better on the desk over here. And moving things about, it's like, oh, I'll put my bookshelf over here and arrange my books in like descending height order. It's just really chilled out, and it's nice. It's just like, it's got really nice pixel art. It's got a really nice acoustic soundtrack.
So in the game, you're given a diorama of a room and a box, and you're to unpack it item by item in almost like not Tetris, but I guess is it kind of like that, where you have to like designate places and just fill up the space,
There is slight puzzle elements to it, like you can't just put items on the floor and be like, right, I've unpacked, and it'll let you go to the next level. You have to, like I put there's one in the first level, I put a Game Boy like on the bed, and I was like, of course, I used to play Game Boy in my bed when I was a kid. That's where I put my Game Boy. But the game was like, no, can't put the Game Boy there. So I had to put it in the drawer on the desk instead. And it was like, so there's slight puzzle-less elements to it. It's not as fully freeform as you might expect it to. But honestly, it's a nice little zen game. Takes like a couple hours to get through. Weirdly nostalgic as well, because it takes you through years, and it's like, the character you play as, I guess, if you do play as someone, it's sort of like just chronicling the life of a person, how they go from like moving into a new house as a kid, like moving into like their own room in college or university, and then moving into their own first apartment when they've graduated. It tells a story, weirdly enough.
It's the last level you have to pack the stuff after they've died. Yeah.
I don't know. I've not got that far yet. It might be. I'll look forward. I'll fill you in when I get to the end.
Pack the corpse into the coffin.
That's DLC, isn't it?
That would make for, indie games that dead proud of being like subversive.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope that is
a fucking post-mortem pack.
Yeah, like this is one that was one of the many, many, many games that I saw at E3 this year that were like bright, colourful, pastel, non-violent, and like different take on the video game where it's like meditative, sort of like
no shotguns, no heavy metal.
No point, like no in a way, like it's like Islanders and all that. It's like
Manscaped is a nice one.
It's just a fucking stress ball, isn't it? Basically,
that's exactly it.
Yeah, so nice one. That's good, that then.
But that's what I've played recently.
Very nice. Jake, do you want to talk a little bit about one of your games, mate?
Go on. I'll just quickly say, I'm a warlord, innit? So I come, Runeterra Masters. But then what happened was I got a bit jaded by it because like they added like a load of content for the launch. So I'm talking about the collectible card game, The Legends of Runeterra, by Riot Games, the makers of League of Legends, which was a card game based around the lore of the hugely popular game League of Legends, which I didn't play. So suddenly I had no context. Yeah. So, the thing that's really confusing is Magic the Gathering has always orbited my life in some sort of way. I actually remember when I was younger, which is an incredibly cool story to tell as a 30-year-old man, but an incredibly shit time as a child, when I asked for Pokemon cards for Christmas and my dad got me a Magic the Gathering pack. My dad isn't like some sort of cool nerd that likes D&D. He just doesn't know fucking anything. He's walked into a shop and went, can I have them cards? And he got absolutely fucking whammed by somebody that works in fucking Games Exchange or something. So yeah. I remember having no one to play Magic the Gathering with and thinking, well, what can I do with all these cards? But they had really good art, so I used to look at them a lot. And I love the idea of it. I love sorcery, swords and sorcery genre. I got into this Runeterra and I climbed all the way through to Masters. I fucking climbed all the way through to Masters rank. And it's because there was no meta game. There's not people who've been playing it for 20 years. There's not over 1,800 cards to memorize. I was in at the ground floor. So now I'm playing Magic the Gathering, which is where it all started, isn't it? It's the Dungeons and Dragons of card games, yeah? It's literally made by the Dungeons and Dragons people. So I'm playing that now, but I feel like I've gone from being like a really high level player of collectible card game about a year ago to like a complete novice at this because it's like so confusing. There's cards that go out of rotation. So if I literally unlock a card now, it might be like I can't use it in competitive next month. And I've got 20 years of cards and metas to like research. If I, it's one of them where it's kind of like
games have got this problem, haven't they? Where especially any service game, you jump into Destiny now, you haven't got a fucking clue what you're doing.
But I don't. To me, yeah, like the way that I try and take on anything like this is like thinking about sports. Yeah, so let's take football. Like, let's say you want to start watching a bit of football. Like, do you need to know about your club, their history, watch all the classic matches, know how the other clubs were faring? How much like that matters to the day-to-day watching of the sport. Like, But with Magic, it seems it's pretty important to know like what cards are in rotation. So where do I find the list of the cards that it's like the Netflix leaving soon screen? So I'm trying to get back into this. I'm fucking around with a couple of decks, like different. I'm liking the deck construction part at the moment. The part that I'm liking is I'm not shackled by like the meta. I'm not like going, oh, this could probably be more efficient because I'm quite liking that I've just got the chops and I know that I can pilot a deck pretty well. But I don't have like that worry of like, am I being efficient and people will laugh at me in it. So, I
just had some weird vision of like Orson Welles or someone saying shackled by this blasted meta. Do you know what I mean?
That's just, yeah.
Shackled by the meta.
Shackled by the meta. I'm sure there's a reactionary post to the Facebook name change called Shackled by the Meta, which is something about tethering in VR. So let's move swiftly on then. So Magic the Gathering, for anyone who knows, they already know, and anyone that doesn't, is card games. So from one complete only matters if you've played it genre to the other, I just want to talk about Resident Evil 4 in VR because
extremely unappetizing for like the mainstream. You got collectible.
But you know what? This might be. No, the reason I was going to not bring it up unless it was because I've been playing lots of VR games, because I'm the owner of an Oculus Quest, which is like the best way to get it. This isn't an ad read, but we've already done one. But because Oculus Quest 2 is like it's the full VR package. You don't need a computer. You can literally just plug it, strap it to your fucking head, and you're gone. And it's 300 quid. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's the one that's going to break it if it's going to break. Yeah. And Resident Evil 4 has been made in VR. And like anyone that's played VR before knows it's full of fucking tech demos that are fun to play for 2 minutes and then you go off.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how does a whole game translate? Is it the whole game? Yeah, everyone says. So I'm like, right, what? And honest to God, it's the full game in VR and it's amazing to be in. It's proper amazing to be in, So I'm playing it seated, but I'm using my hands and it is ace. So you're walking around the town at the beginning. Yeah, and you get to that part where you've got everyone knows that part of Resident Evil 4 right at the beginning where you've just got to pass the time and run away while the chainsaw guy and the rest of the schlubs are chasing you around you. That in VR is amazing. You're ducking, you're diving, you're dodging, and that. Like, people are trying to, like, the chainsaw man goes to chainsaw you. You do a little head bob and you move out the way. You duck under the chainsaw. You use your hand to whip your gun out. Then you use your other hand to load your ammo. You shoot. You've run out of ammo. You chuck your gun at them. Then you use your hand to pull your knife out. You're stabbing, slashing, running around. Whilst you're doing that with your right hand, use your left hand to whip out your shotgun. You're fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger and Terminator. Blast, running back. It's so like, it's proper. Everything's going. You're getting a bit of adrenaline. It's super immersive, but you know that it's not like photorealistic because the graphics are quite old still. So the Quest can handle it, but it's a fucking thrill. There's no way about it. I'm like scrambling, like, do I have any ammo left? No, not there. I've got ammo. Thank fuck for that. Chuck a flash grenade, but it's all different parts of your body are like mapped out. So your knife's in your left breast pocket, your flash grenade's on your right breast, your shotgun, your first aid spray's behind you. And there's like accessibility options, obviously, if you don't want to do that. But that, to me, and so how you move around, there's like a thingy in it. I've got one here. Look, there's a little joystick, just a regular joystick thing. If anyone listening, it's just like a joystick, and you just do that. It's ace, and I didn't really feel like sick, but there's like a motion sickness mode. But yeah, and when when it takes you to do a cutscene, it sits you in like this virtual theater. you feel like you sat on this like recliner chair watching a cutscene, and then it like transports you back in.
So you did like ducking under a chainsaw, and you're like chilling out on a fucking lounger. You're in view plus seated.
You're in view. It's still like a bit creaky to try and make it a bit spooky. Oh, yeah. But when you go to the menu, but honestly, like it's easily the essential game, right? If you've got like a quest, you need it, and it's got to the point where they just announced that they're making San Andreas in VR. Rockstar themselves are doing it. And I'm thinking, if they can make the full game in VR, like people will just rack up thousands of hours in that. Imagine getting on a bike, BMX, Andreas going Mount Chiliad or whatever. So honestly, like, I'm just fucking blown away by it, to be honest. Completely blown away. It's so good.
That sounds good. Thank you for opening the door there to the Special Moves inbox. If you want to send us an email, it's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. That's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Email us about anything you want and ask questions, tell us stories, give us your opinions, or talk about San Andreas, like Melman. Melman says this: damn it! It's Brilliant. Wednesday. I'm out in the countryside of Western Kenya, so I lost track of time looking at the lush green rolling hills and giant boulders. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
I just wanted to say, I emailed over a year ago asking why Rockstar doesn't remaster Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and make $1 bajillion. And here we are amid a looming trilogy remaster release. I am trying to remain cynical about this because I don't trust them as much as I used to. But damn it, I'm excited. I can't help it. I know they won't pay for those classic music licenses, though, which does suck. Have a good weekend. Stay awesome. Melman, long-time viewer.
Yeah, the king of Kenya, actually. Yeah.
Melman, nice one, Melman.
Nice one, man.
Yeah, so we have talked about this a little bit, haven't we?
Like very briefly, I think.
Yeah, just seems quite... I think I remember saying something about it.
Yeah.
Seeming expensive.
I remember Liam telling you that it's coming to Game Pass, San Andreas, the remaster.
Oh, no. You mentioned Game Pass, I think.
Oh.
But also, yeah. I remember I controversially said, I like how the art style looks.
Oh, yeah. I've said a few people say that.
One of two people who thinks it looks all right.
No, I've heard more as time's gone on. The people sticking their head above because you've led the way there, Liam.
I have, yeah. I was brave soul that I am.
Yeah, the pioneer.
It says it's got the GTA 5 control scheme and stuff, so
that's good.
That's probably more intuitive and things like that. I think I remember you didn't have to buy it all at once for like 50 quid, and I remember. It was like 70 quid somewhere. No, I remember the Switch version was cheaper than some of the others because I remember we whipped out the website actually on the podcast. But but then after the fact, the good news was that San Andreas, which I don't know, is my favorite one out of them, I think, is on Game Pass. Like, so it's coming out. It's like 2 weeks away. So I'll install it if it's not like... The thing is, these bloody remasters and that it's going to unnecessarily be like 75 gig for those bloody high-res faces that are a total choice. 75 gig it'll be, that.
Have you... I was just going to say, speaking of game sizes, have you seen... People have already got their hands on copies of Call of Duty Vanguard, which is out, which is fine. 196 gig. On the PS5.
It's a fucking joke, that, you know. Do you know what I've been... This, it sounds ungrateful, but I've been invited to the Lost Ark closed beta. It's 70 gigs, so I've just gone, nah. No.
But that's...
Anyway, back to San Andreas.
Age of Empires. I downloaded Age of Empires 4, the new Age of Empires on my PC, right? And it defaulted to a 220 gigabyte download, which had 4K HDR. It's not that good. It's not the kind of game that needs.
Not Crisis, is it? Yeah.
But it was like 200 gig, and then I downloaded all that, and then I deleted it. I don't know if you can not download the 4K shot.
I think that's what I did. I'm pretty sure.
I just literally was like, you want to play this? Yes, 220 gig, please. That's the only option that I had.
Because mine was, I remember showing you and saying it was like 80, because that was like, I think mine was like the preload. So maybe like they pushed a patch to like make that like the standard.
And the only other thing I can think of is I'm on Windows 11 as well. So if I didn't preload it.
Oh, yeah. All right.
But yeah, that's weird. Okay, we'll do another email while we're at it. Thanks, Melman, for sending that in. This one is from Ash, who says, Dear Special Moves / Hey Gamers. My name is Ash.
Hey gamers.
I'm from the southwest of the UK, brackets, Cornwall. As someone with Asperger's, I like to really dive deep into a game story, working out motivation and philosophy woven throughout. So my question is, what game has helped you develop as a person, as in teaching you a life lesson or giving you a different perspective on life? For me, it's Nier Automata. As someone who struggles with mental health, it taught me to be strong and to not be afraid to ask for help. So what games have added to your life? Yours sincerely.
Wow.
That's a good email.
That's a very good one.
Yeah.
I think probably, they I think just playing the amount of games that we play is difficult. I mean,
Builds resolve, doesn't it?
Some of them, some of them are bound to have, influenced you in different ways, or something.
Yeah, I don't know if a single game is giving me a different perspective, but I will tell you, and I think this is so normie and annoying, and sorry for saying it to everybody anyway, but I think the first time you play a Souls game, you just don't it's like the first time you drink a beer or something, or you eat a spicy food. You think, why wouldn't you just go for why? This is a bit much. Like, the people, is everyone, hang on a minute. Is everyone in the world pretending that they like this shit?
Yeah.
Because it's got to be some sort of fucking,
because this is nobody. So unpleasant, right?
But then when you get through the other,
I was going to say Bloodborne.
Yeah, when you get through the other side, it's not even when you get through the other side. You get to a certain part where your mentality changes in the game, and you're like, I'm the fucking problem now, and you're the fucking, you know what I mean?
I think that might happen as well when you're not playing it. Like, when you're sleeping on it or something, or you'll just feel like a craving to go back to it.
Exactly. Yeah,
when you're not playing it.
Yeah, it's their job to be the oppressive world, and one day you wake up, you're the oppressor, and you put all them in the fucking dole queue. You're putting them out of a job. You're going.
Dark Souls taught me to be an oppressor, Jake.
Exactly, the strength, the fucking. No, do you know what it is though? Yeah, it's good for my resolve, because it's so funny. I'm thinking about. Do you know what? In all of those games, the boss that I died to the most in any of them games, is the last boss of Sekiro, Lord Ashina. Yeah, he slammed me about 20 odd times. Yeah, now I can clack him without even getting, I think one of the times I beat him, I got touched once, and it's just such a weird feeling to go back to it. It's like comfort, and it's just weird that you can go from such adversity to this solace from these games. It's good. And another game that's like that as well is Cuphead. I think it's actually in this podcast. I fucking hated Cuphead. Then I was saying it's a stupid game with a stupid gimmick. Yeah. It took me 2 weeks to beat it the first time. The second time, I played it on a business trip, and I completed the whole game again in 2 sittings. And then I recently did the whole game again in 1 sitting, and I love it. I absolutely. So I think the games with the difficulty like that, but they seem fair, taught me that it's all right, isn't it? Things are good.
Yeah, I can't. I can't really think it beyond. Like I was going to say, Bloodborne was.
Yeah. I think Metal Gear Solid 2 taught me to look beyond the surface meaning of things. To actually examine things and be a bit of critical thinking. Because I played Metal Gear Solid 2 probably far younger than I should have. I think I was 10, 11 when I played it. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people probably just would have taken it at surface value and been well, that was a weird game, and then just left it. But yeah, I started reading into it, started researching all the shit they were going on about in the game. And I was like, that gave me a new perspective on how to look at things, and examining critical evidence and stuff like that. Which is not something you really get taught in the UK until you go to sixth form university level. Yeah, I thought like that taught me a life skill, I guess.
You know what? It's a cool thing when you have to like look up stuff afterwards, and then
yeah.
I love it. I love watching or playing a game, and when I have to look up a Wikipedia article afterwards, I love it. It's great. Honestly, Deadly Premonition as well, which is very similar to Nier Automata, where it's like it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to like take all of life's problems and challenges by yourself. Like a big part of that game is learning to. It's okay to like ask other people for help and seek help from others and let people into your life. And also, because it's Deadly Premonition, that it's okay to be a bit weird. You don't have to you don't have to go out in the world and be like all like follow how everyone else's does. And it's actually good to be a bit weird, because that's how you develop as a person. You develop your own character and personality. Yeah, that's all I can think of, but there you go.
I think Tetris Effect for changing man and Liam's life. Right?
Okay, Tetris Effect just changes your brain, like it morphs you into a higher being.
Free DNT, nice one to Tetris Effect.
Imagine if we were like probably Ring Fit Adventure on a Switch in it. That's how we got.
I'm this close from saying Thriller the Fight on Oculus Quest, mate. You should sweat my fucking
Switch boxing.
Yeah,
that's a good email. That is a good email. Thank you, Ash.
Yeah, seriously.
Do you know what? Nice. I think we'll squeeze in one more. This one is from. This was from James in Manchester. James says, "Dear Special Moves, I've spent the last few weeks awaiting the release of Back 4 Blood. Left 4 Dead was one of my favourite games on my old Xbox 360, and I have great memories of playing with my friends. I couldn't wait to start blasting zombies once again. After playing Back 4 Blood for the last few days, though, I found the game to be disappointing. It reminds me of The Thing. It can replicate Left 4 Dead almost perfectly. Can talk the same, walk the same, but something is a bit off, and would happily destroy the disc with fire. It got me thinking about other games like this that I've played, from Yooka-Laylee to Mighty No. 9 and others. Why do these games, despite involving the same studios or some of the same people that brought me such joy with their older titles, now bring me such sorrow? Are they too constrained by outdated game design in an attempt to recapture those games of the past? Has my taste simply changed, or is it just the case that nostalgia is a hell of a drug? What are your opinions of these types of games? Do you get excited when they're announced, and have any lived up to your expectations? Love the podcast, James. Yeah, I mean, I feel this a lot. Like when I feel, especially in the strategy games, which I've talked about loads. There's like Planetary Annihilation and things, which is a complete successor to Total Annihilation. It isn't a patch on. It is nowhere near as good as Total Annihilation, and I don't think it is. Nostalgia. I think it's like there's huge innovation in Total Annihilation, and there just isn't the same. It just doesn't have the. I think a lot of stuff that's good, like a lot of art and anything, a good movie, and is like a lot of good things happening at the same time, and a lot of happy like accidents and things like that. Just things working out well, and then. You just expect that the people, just because like one or two of the people who are involved, like the director or somebody right at the top, you just expect that they can do the same again. But maybe they're not. It's like fucking 20 years ago. Maybe they're a completely different person now, and maybe it wasn't just their input that made it the thing that it was in the first place. You know what I mean? Like it's you see a lot in movies. I think you see a lot of there's a lot of directors who are like shit hot for a period, and then they're not, or
Yeah, I think this is a bit of a thing in it, though. Like, I think they're not allowed to use the Left 4 Dead name, so when they were shipping about, like Warner Bros would have just said to them, "We'll order another one of them, please." But I just think that was very of the time. Yeah, I think nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and like there is this weird, awkward thing of like people trying to. I'll tell you a good example of this, in my opinion. I could get fucking beaten up on the internet, cyberbullied for this one, but. The people that made Fallout New Vegas, Obsidian, they did our Worlds, which was like not a patch on New Vegas.
Some people love it, and
that's what I mean.
I've tried so many times to get into that, probably more than any other game recently.
there's just something about it, and I have extreme contempt towards them. No, I'm joking. I like Obsidian's output. Yeah, Pillars of Eternity is great, and I'm looking forward to that Avowed. But I'm lucky, because a lot of the games that I felt really nostalgic about as a kid, I feel like I have been able to expand that love for games in a natural way. What I mean is, I was really into Tenchu as a kid, and like, I've got Sekiro now, which is like a natural evolution. But deeper than that, I loved Baldur's Gate 2 on the PC, right? Absolutely loved that. And I loved Fable. And I always loved me like Fireballs and Wizards games and stuff. And like the genre that was a has-been genre that has now had a roaring comeback is the CRPG, isn't it? Like Divinity Original Sin 2, Disco Elysium, Baldur's Gate 3 is still, in the wings, like it's in early access. But Divinity Original Sin 1, a blinder. Pillars of Eternity, smash it. But Divinity Original Sin 2, if not for Disco Elysium, is the best example of the genre, like, at all. It's going to be really hard to disprove that. Like, it's the best of it. And I feel like that is a big smush of all the things that I felt nostalgic about, but modernized. So I've been really lucky, because if I was really into RTS as a kid, I'd be fucked now. What am I going to do? Download 220 gig of fucking 4K textures? Yeah, you mean? So that's what I'm saying. So I'm in a really lucky position, because like my genre is good. Stealth games are dying. That's another thing I'm really passionate about. But it's just I think the question about the nostalgia thing. I think it is just like, like The Witcher 3 is really, really good. Cyberpunk is not really good, but it's the same people who made it. But it's just, there's just anything that is a huge success, even if it's like From Software, where they're just fucking, game after game, you think this is one of the best games I've ever played. It just can't last forever. I don't care who you are. It can't last. It can't last forever.
Look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's topical, I know.
It's true.
I was going to say Studio Ghibli for some reason. I don't know why.
Don't you fucking dare go there.
Oh, not good. They did have Tales from the Earthsea.
No, they've had that absolute shocker.
Yeah, that 3D one. Yeah.
Which, do you know what I mean? So there's... But obviously, there's going to be some exceptions of just fucking wall-to-wall genius and whatever. But
and just bow out. Like, there's no one to bow out. That's how you do it.
Like BioWare, people are like, "Oh, BioWare is a great studio," but it's just not.
Just not.
No. I mean, it was 20 years ago when they were making the stuff that was making themselves a legend. And they're just it's not the same company now. It just cannot be.
Honestly, I think there's 2 or 3 employees that are the same as the.
And even if it was the same, I mean, it doesn't matter. Maybe they're not the same people. Like, I don't want to throw anybody but an example I can think of just personally is the guy who made Phoenix Point, right? So he made the original XCOM. I can't remember his name. Is Julian?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So he made the original XCOM great, like massive influence on games. But then Phoenix Point is not as successful as the Firaxis XCOM games, which XCOM 2 especially I think is one of the most perfect games ever made. And how can he compete with that? So Phoenix Point is sort of trying to do its own thing, but it is unmistakably kind of influenced massively by the Firaxis XCOM games. But nobody goes, "Oh, yeah, Phoenix Point is that's the tactical."
Gollop's done it again. No. Yeah. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? I tell you, he does get that reception. Oh, fucking that boy Kojima. He does. He does it again. Kojima does it. Kojima does it, man. So yeah, shouts out to Julian Gollop, though. Seriously. I agree though, Mike, yes. God, with another haymaker.
Well, listen, you mentioned, can I just mention it quickly before we do the new games, because I did say I was going to talk about it. Age of Empires 4. I played a little bit of this. Sorry, remind me again, which of you guys has played it?
I played the tutorial in its entirety, and then played Magic the Gathering. Yeah.
Okay. So I skipped the tutorial for this because I was doing my head in like straight away. There's something about RTS tutorials that are just so slow. Yeah. So Age of Empires, it's a real time strategy game. You build a little community, and you pop out some soldiers, and then you go and conquer the neighboring community, or there's some basic kind of diplomacy and stuff like that. And this one is the reviews have been like good, but not. It's about 80-ish or something on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, mid-80s.
But it's pretty safe, is what everybody says, and I can definitely see that. It's very like really nice presentation. It's the History Channel sort of presentation to it, with like narration and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool. But right, you live in a world where Total War exists, so you cannot it just can't stack up. It just doesn't. When they're trying to give you this feel of controlling a huge battle, it just really doesn't. It's pretty lame, It just doesn't. It doesn't hold a candle to the Total War titles when it comes to the combat stuff, which isn't. That's not the main. It's the settlement building and all that is as much a part of it as anything else, and all that stuff is really nice. It's got a really nice settlement build. I really like the presentation of it all the way through. I really like the way it works. I enjoy it. But I think that it is like weirdly close to Age of Empires 2. You know what I mean? It just works.
Yeah.
It's so similar the way everything works. And I think they should have been a bit braver and done, taken some cues from the greatest strategy game of all time, Battle for Middle-earth 2. And maybe giving you, instead of like popping out like one soldier at a time, give yourself a little unit. Do you know what I mean? And just kind of try to like scale it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And make it feel a bit busier and things like that. And
yeah, you can't help but kind of wonder how much of those initial like creations were limited by the hardware. But now that you can get a little battalion at a time.
Yeah,
so you're right.
I'm sure there's like design, I'm sure they would have discussed all that sort of stuff, and they would have, But the result of the route they've gone down, it just feels really similar to Age of Empires 2, which obviously has got these really nice, proper glossy remasters that look great. Like they look really good. To the animation and stuff, it just looks phenomenal. So this just kind of does a very similar thing, but it's three-dimensional, which isn't necessarily better. But, I do like it. I'm going to keep playing it. It did make me smile. I'm not, like Jake said earlier, I'm not exactly sport for choice when it comes to RTS games, which I love. So I'm going to keep playing it.
Yeah, you know what? Before we go into the new games, I'll talk about it next week, but I want to say a complete blunder by me. I had played another game that wasn't a stupid deck builder or a bloody VR game that no one can relate to. I actually played Darkest Dungeon 2. I bought it and I played it and I liked it. And I forgot.
It's so weird you say that. Sorry, I got a refresher in my hand for anyone watching. If you're wondering what the hell this is, it's a little refresher which I'm going to eat between this and the bonus podcast. So the Darkest Dungeon 1 I played quite a bit of this week after you mentioned Darkest Dungeon 2 on the Switch. Yeah, like literally 20 minutes before going to sleep. But it's built up I like it a lot.
This one is way different. It's a driving game. You're driving a car. You're driving a car through a world and then you stop off and you do your management. But it's like you're managing your car. It's ace.
Banner Saga, but a bit more.
Yeah, Banner Saga, but like the camera's behind, like a Crazy Taxi. I couldn't think of anything. Cars in it. Yeah, and it's in 3D as well. And you're traversing this dark landscape, and you're taking forks down the road, making decisions. It's brilliant. Like it's great. It's really good.
Cool. Does the Offspring play though? When you're in the
there's probably a mod.
I hope there is.
Let's mod it up, baby. Let's mod it up. But yeah, Darkest Dungeon 2 is really good because it's in early access. It's got the most annoying type of early access. Where it's like the first act of the game, so it's like Baldur's Gate and Hades. So it's like, if you want a full experience, because you can finish the first level pretty easy, but there's 5 stages of grief or whatever. I think that's actually what it is. So yeah, it's banger, absolute banger. I'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah, I used to live in Bangor. Right. So new games for the week of November the 1st to November the 5th.
Yeah.
Quite a few things out.
There is, yeah.
So already out. So November the 2nd, which was Tuesday, you've got Knockout City, which is out on PS5 and Xbox Series X, which is a sports game, which I think they gave away on PlayStation
Plus.
So that looks okay, published by EA.
I played this.
It's been out a while. I'm guessing this is just a next-gen version?
Just next-gen, isn't it, probably?
Yeah. It was not good, but okay. Sorry.
World War Z is out on Nintendo Switch.
I'm still amazed they got that running on a Switch.
Yeah.
All power to them.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, a bit of a slideshow, I imagine. And then Thursday, so the day the podcast comes out, November the 4th, there's quite a few games out, right? So A Boy and His Blob is out.
I love
Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo DS game, that originally.
It's Ace.
Good name. Good name for a game. That it's a puzzle platform game. The Binding of Isaac Repentance.
Is that on PS4? Fucking PS5 on first. Fuck yeah, baby.
And Switch.
I've took a half day off for this.
You haven't? Have you really?
Yeah, it's the best game ever made. I'll tell you this. It's my favorite game ever. This, and yeah, it's over forever. This is the last thing that they've ever done to it. It's finally an end.
This is the last podcast. So Just Dance 2022 is out on Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and of course Google Stadia.
I've been playing this, and it's good. If you like this sort of thing.
It's a Ubisoft game, rhythm game, obviously. Tales of Luminaria is out on iOS and Android.
I think it's part of the Tales of franchise, but it's a mobile gacha game. So you'll be spending $8,000 trying to get that one specific waifu you want.
Yeah, booked a day off for that, have you, Jake? Half a day for that.
Not even half a day.
Not even half a day. Mr. Driller Drill Land is out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X.
Mr. Driller's well good. Underrated puzzle game. Doesn't get enough love.
What is it, Liam? Mr. Driller?
Yeah, I first played it on the Dreamcast. It's a bit like Dig Dug. It's made by Bandai Namco, except you're going down constantly and you've got to drill into the depths and make sure you don't have rocks fall on you and crush your head.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks good. Cool.
And almost unbelievably, Call of Duty Vanguard is out on Friday, November the 5th. On PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. But the caveat is you're going to need about 3 or 4 of each of those systems just to store.
Just to hold the one copy. Yeah.
I can't believe it's out then.
Yeah, there's no fanfare for it this year. I'm going to play it.
Undermarketed almost. Do you know what I mean?
It does.
Big time.
Activision, not exactly Company of the Year in the headlines this year, for very good reason. Oh, yeah. No one wants to be associated with Activision Blizzard right now, from the abusive workplaces to sexual harassment and everything in between. Yeah. They're not exactly everyone's favourite company right now.
I assumed it was because they had a bit less faith in it or something. The
beta didn't leave people with a great impression. It was the beta. People complain about Call of Duty being you have to be off your face on Rockstar energy drink to even compete.
Yeah.
It felt like that taken to the extreme. It was twitchy.
Yeah.
If
you could Predator fucking missile people in World War II, remember?
You could do that, yeah. You could do that in the beta. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to play it just for the talking points. Feel like someone has to play it. It's
the embargo's lifted. There's full on gameplay videos of it. Blizzard aren't saying anything because their CEO, one of the two of them, just stepped down. They're still facing lawsuits for sexually harassing women, and they've just delayed Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. So, what's going on? Call of Duty Vanguard, November the 5th.
Yeah.
Anything else there, Mike?
Nope.
Well, there is. Psych. Animal Crossing, the big, massive, fat update patch, November the 5th. It's the only game that matters this week, to be honest, apart from Binding of Isaac. Animal Crossing, Happy Home Designer, but on an island, yeah? Brewster's Cafe, all that. Come on. Anyway, that's it.
So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for watching this watching the Special Moves podcast.
Yeah, thanks to Manscaped for the balls, the underwear, the t-shirts, and that.
They give you some balls. Thanks for the balls.
I don't know. Thanks for the guts to come forward with my
the chutzpah. That's what you meant, isn't it?
Shouts out Manscaped.
Yeah, cheers Manscaped. I'm genuinely enjoying the boxes here, man. So yeah, we'll do the bonus podcast now. We'll release that to the patrons. We released the bonus podcast to everybody last week. So that's
you guys didn't like our opinions on June, did you?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, where's your?
Well, thanks for the huge essays about all of our queries. We literally got every single thing we needed to mention answered in like excruciating depth. So the depth of a sandworm's trench, like, do you know what I mean? So thank you, public, and we're taking it back private now because of that.
It was interesting. There's some fucking Dune fans out there, man. Guaranteed you're all American. But right, anyway, listen, that's enough. That's enough. I don't need to stop myself.
Right, yeah. Hey, see you next week, guys. It's been a pleasure, you know.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.